Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. If everybody could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Mark is on call-in, Sean and myself, and we're missing one, and Bob is absent.
Correct.
My apologies if you were waiting for me. Didn't realize I was late.
No trouble. We were trying to get technology working anyway, so.
Approve agenda for Tuesday, February 8th.
Motion to approve from Mark.
I'll second that motion.
We got a motion and a second to approve the agenda for February 8th. All in favor, signal saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed with all present. Number 4, preliminary and final plat review for Globe Enterprise, Inc.
For anyone watching now or later, I apologize. We don't have this on the screen tonight due to some unforeseen technology issues, but this is a request from Globe Enterprises, Inc., applicant Mr. Jim Rakshani, for review of the preliminary and final plat of Riverview Lofts. You may recall we reviewed this a few months back with the rezoning component of that property, where we rezoned it for RM12 medium density residential. This property, the plat is being done ahead of the development as a city requirement. We can't do building permits for unplatted property in most cases. The property is located at 2005 Frontage Road North in front of Antone's Restaurant. Some of that parcel was cleared previously with city approval, so that's what has been happening there. The property is currently vacant and is being configured as a pretty simple single lot, single block parcel. No functionally changes will occur ahead of the development. That's 1.63 acres. Again, this is essentially a formality. It does meet the minimum lot area for that zoning district. This property has not been previously platted, so there will be components for a payment in lieu of parkland dedication. That has to go to the park board for their review and approval before this item would eventually go to the city council. Just FYI, the proposed recommended payment in lieu of parkland dedication would be $10,928 in this instance. Usually, for most projects we do, it's based on a percentage of the value of the vacant lot, but for apartments, it's based on a per unit basis, $683 per unit. You may have seen that number referenced in an article from the St. Cloud Times recently. I think it was today or yesterday. In regards to rent, it's not the rent, it's a per unit payment that the developer has to make to the city. So I just got a little crossed up inadvertently there. I am supportive of the preliminary and final plat as submitted. This does have a public hearing component, so we do have to hold the public hearing. My recommendation would be to approve the preliminary plat with the standard conditions. Number 1, development on the property may be subject to a development agreement with the city if deemed necessary. I don't think that would be necessary in this case. And number 2, the property is subject to requirement for payment in lieu of parkland dedication as recommended by Park Board and established by City Council. Any required parkland dedication fees must be paid prior to affixing of city signatures upon the plat. Provided that those conditions are satisfied, I would recommend approval of the final plat. We can open it up for questions or comments.
Okay, let's open the public hearing. The Way Park Plan Commission will hold a meeting at City Hall, 19 13th Avenue North, 6:30 or soon thereafter, Tuesday, February 8th, to hear the following request. Request of Globe Enterprises, Inc. for review of preliminary and final plat of Riverview Lofts. The property is legally described as the part of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter southeast quarter, northeast quarter, section 18, township 124, north range 28, in the city of Way Park, Stearns County, Minnesota, address 2005 Frontage Road North. Public hearing opened at 6:38.
Planning Commission members, I would just note, we did have one comment received just prior to the meeting tonight, by voicemail. It was from the folks at Antone's, just noting their support for the project. They are, very excited for it to move forward. I think it's a good project. So I just wanted to make a note there. I know that they submitted a letter of support with the rezoning as well, but, they wanted to reiterate that, they think this is a good project and a good fit for that property.
Anyone from the public would like to speak for or against? Commissioners, you got any questions or concerns?
None from Mr. Arnold.
Do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
I move we close the public hearing.
Second from Mr. Arnold. Sorry, I just want to make sure that, I don't know if the microphone can catch that.
We got a motion and a second to close public hearing. All in favor, sing with saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Public hearing closed at 6:39. Can we do the approval of the primary and final plat at the same time, or you want them separate?
They can be done at the same time, that's fine.
Commissioners, any questions or motion?
No, I mean, I would have to say this, it's pretty straightforward and procedural at this point. We've been going through all these motions for it, so I'm just going to make a motion that we recommend approval of this application.
With standing conditions?
Right, the two recommendations?
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Mr. Arnold seconds.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, passed with all three. Number 5.
Number 5, agenda item 5 is a variance request from Bob Zabitsky, 2705 County Road 6, for variance from city ordinance section 5211, subdivision 6, relating to the minimum lot area in the A1 Ag Rural Residential District, to take the minimum lot area for a new parcel from 10 acres to 5 acres. Property is legally described as 157.83 acres of the southwest quarter of Stearns County, Minnesota. The primary property is addressed as 2705 County Road 6. This request is being made to accommodate creation of a new acre of 5 acres, again, versus a 10-acre ordinance standard, for purpose of allowing the applicant's son to construct a new dwelling on the property, so that he can serve as an eventual caretaker for the applicants as they grow older and age in place in their existing home as long as possible. The 5-acre plot is being requested instead of the 10-acre minimum, due to the excess land associated with the 10 acres would complicate future matters involving the family property and farm operation. If the variance would be ultimately approved by the city council, the property would then be platted accordingly, which would likely accommodate the previous approval for a sale of portion of the northern part of the property, which was approved sometime back for sale to a landscape company and residents on that component. So they probably do that 2 actions in a single plat. Again, plating is required prior to issuance of building permit, except in very limited circumstances associated with agricultural structures, which wouldn't apply in these circumstances with a dwelling. Existing ordinance makes allowance for construction of a separate accessory dwelling as an accessory use to primary dwelling on ag properties on the same parcel, with the intent that they would be utilized by a farm employee or a farmhand or other kind of property caretaker. This was discussed with the applicant as a possible path, but discussions indicated that having the property as a separate parcel on as small as possible would be more viable for future dealings and potential eventual separation of ownership of the properties of the parcel and farm property. I'm sensitive to the need for accommodations of aging populations and options to age in place, and I think that's a pretty common theme that a lot of cities are working with now to keep people have options for folks to stay on properties in their own home as long as they can. Given that the request is to grant accommodations for an immediate family member and the hardship imposed is beyond the scope of control of the applicant, staff is supportive of the request. The 5-acre allowance instead of the 10-acre standard is reasonable in my opinion, and is in line with previous accommodations for 5-acre parcels associated with family properties and transfer to immediate family members, which was done for a fairly nearby area along Old Highway Road North during annexation in 2016. In my opinion, practical difficulties have been established and justification for the variance exists. I don't believe that it would impart special privilege to the applicant or property, and I don't feel that granting of the variance would be detrimental to the surrounding properties or diminish their use or value. I'm supportive of the request. I recommend approval. I would add that being that the applicant is a member of the Planning Commission, he's not here tonight. He couldn't attend in any case, but he would be required to abstain and recuse himself from discussion or voting surrounding the request. And I would also attest that we've not had any special privilege or accommodation for Mr. Zabinski due to his standing as a Planning Commission member throughout the application or the review process. As this request holds a public hearing component as well, we will need to hold that prior to action.
Okay. Notice of public hearing. The Way Park Planning Commission hold a public meeting at City Hall, 19 13th Avenue North, 6:30 or soon after, February 8th, 2022. The following requests of Robert W. Sabinski, 2003 Revocable Trust Variance from City Ordinance Section 52.11, Sub 6, relating to minimum lot areas A1 Agricultural Rural Residential District to reduce minimum lot size from 10 acres to 5 acres. The property is legally described as 157.83 acres, Southwest 4, Stearns County, Minnesota, address 2705 County Road 6. Public hearing opened at 6:46. Anybody from the public want to put in anything on this? Anybody have any questions for anybody, or can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Sir, if you want to be on record, I would ask you to come and step up to the microphone and identify yourself and tell me your opinion.
Hang on, Mark.
Okay, thank you for coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have a remote comment?
Mark, did you have any comment? We were just we just had a public comment for the record. Mark, did you have anything on this?
I just said I've had questions answered prior to the meeting speaking with you, so I'm in favor of this project.
I'll just reiterate that for the microphone, that Mark had questions previously answered in discussions with me, and he's in favor of the request.
Okay.
All right.
Can I get a motion to close public hearing?
I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
We got
Mr. Arnold, seconds.
We got a motion and a second, close public hearing. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Public hearing closed at 6:48. I believe with A1 agriculture out there, almost anywhere in the city is eventually gonna go to housing or other industrial or something as the city grows. And 5-acre lots, I think, is a decent sized lot.
That was part of the conversation as well, because, you know, obviously it's a known quantity that our land use plan and comprehensive plan is under, basically being done from the ground up right now. It's just starting. And it's more likely that we will have larger parcels like that than, you know, traditional R1 districts that have 11,000 square foot lots, because city doesn't have the capability to service parcels that far down. So I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that we may go to a, you know, 5-acre could be a future minimum in that area. I don't, on a parcel the size of this, you know, the 5 versus 10 is fairly nominal, in my opinion. And I'm supportive of, you know, I recognize that aging in place is a challenge that a lot of folks are dealing with, and our population especially, because we have so many older folks and family farms in that area, that, you know, it's something I'm sensitive to, so I'm supportive of it.
Any more questions from commissioners? Could I entertain a motion?
No, I'll make a motion to recommend approval of this variance application.
And I'll second.
Mr. Arnold, seconds.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor by signify saying yay.
Aye.
Yay. Aye. Passed with all three. Any new business or?
No additional items for the agenda or new business tonight, no.
All right, then, I move we adjourn.
We got a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Arnold, seconds.
We have a second. All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Motion accepted. Meeting adjourned at 6:50.
Thank you very much. Mark, you're off the
Thank
hook.
you.
Yep.
Have a good night, Mark.